animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to Safari Live on this pretty windy 7th of July afternoon. Welcome to the show. I think it's going to be an exciting one. We've come all the way down to Twin Dams, and the reason we've done that is because the Nkahuma Pride, that's a pride of lions for those of you that weren't on the morning drive, was left down here this morning, and they'd had seems like a pretty intense night being chased by males. So we want to just follow up on that story and see what's happened with them. So we came down to the dam thinking they may have come to get some water. Looks like they haven't. Some giraffe eating over there that look fairly relaxed. They probably look like they haven't seen any lions. So what we're going to do from here is head into the block and find where Cedric left them and see if we can see what's going on with them. Chances are they haven't moved, but given the fact that they were so nervous this morning, lions on a day like this probably wouldn't move too far, but with them being so nervous, they may have moved. So we'll head into the area and see what we can find. But yeah, it's a gorgeous day in the Greater Kruger Park here at Juma Private Game Reserve, and we're really happy to have you all on board with us this afternoon. Let's get cracking and waste no more time, see if we can find these lions. Please remember, it's a live show, so feel free to ask us any questions using hashtag WildEarth on X or Twitter, and also you can use the website or YouTube to send your questions through to us. We'd love to interact with you. We'd love to hear your comments and your questions. Oh, there's an elephant right here. I was so busy looking where I was going to do a 3-point turn that I missed them. Super relaxed because we came up so close behind them. Just goes to show how incredibly well camouflaged they are with that grey colour. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I've changed my lucky socks. They haven't brought me much cat luck over the last few drives. So we'll see if the new ones bring some luck for me today. I'm just going to reverse us a little bit because I think we'll have a slightly better view of these ellies. Looks like a small group of them. Just want to get a better view. Looks like it could be a group of 2 or 3 bulls. There's 3 in there. Well, I'm going to try put my nose in here and see if you can get a nice view of that one. He's got some quite nice tusks. Exactly. I'll never say no to Ellie's either. You got him there, Paul. That's a nice view. Looks like he's got a really very well used tusk. That left tusk of his looks very thick, and it also looks like it could be broken. I'm just going to have a quick look. Oh, we've got it on the monitor here. Yeah, looks like he's broken it off at some point. Yeah, definitely doesn't have the sharp point of his right tusk. So I'm sure you've all heard about the fact that elephants, just like humans, have a right hand or a left hand that they favor. Elephants supposedly favor one tusk over the other tusk. what I find quite intriguing is that they also, the way they twist their trunk works the same way. So an elephant uses its trunk in many different ways, and it has muscles that allow it to actually twist the trunk. And some elephants twist their trunks to the right, and some elephants twist their trunks to the left. And if an elephant twists its trunk to the right, that will be the way it twists its trunk, just like someone is right-handed or left-handed. So it's not just the tusk that they use, that they favor, but actually the direction that they twist their trunk when they are pulling branches or pulling roots out the ground or stripping leaves off branches. They have a favorite way of doing that as well, which is quite interesting. These are super chilled bulls. I'm glad I could teach you something new, Jared. Jared says it's a cool fact. He never knew that. You always learn. That's what I love about this job. Always learn something new, either just by watching the animals and you learn something new by what they're doing, or you see some intriguing behavior and then you've got to go and read up on it and research on it after drive. And I just find it's a constant source of new and exciting information when you're out here in the bush. None of these elephants look... Nathan, you're right. The tusks do sometimes look like they're made of wood. They can be really quite dirty and have a kind of a browny tinge to them, I agree. Especially that broken one on that elephant. It did look like a piece of wood sticking out of his either side of his nose. They don't look like they've been... Roll forward, sure. You know what, I might just try and go back and then in here slightly, or do you think if I go... No, I think... So now...
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
Are you ready to turn your travel dreams into a reality? Wild Earth Travel is here to make that happen. Africa is full of exciting adventures and stunning wildlife. If you want to meet the Wild Earth crew and animal characters while enjoying a 5-star safari, we can make it happen. Contact us today on info@wildearth.travel or visit our website, and let's turn your African dreams into a reality.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature.
Andrea, no, it won't grow back if it's broken from the root. If it's broken in the front, it will continue to grow, but it will normally always look blunt. It won't have that nice sharp point of a natural tusk that hasn't broken, but it will continue to grow. But if it's broken at the root, then you'll find that it won't grow back. And sometimes that can cause a tremendous amount of pain for an elephant if he has a tusk that breaks at the root. You can get an infection setting in there. I've actually heard many stories about elephants that have been rogue elephants and elephants that have been problem elephants. And often when those animals are euthanized, sadly sometimes they have to be euthanized because they might, go rampaging into a camp or a community and cause trouble. Often when they're euthanized and they do an autopsy, they find that the elephant had a problem with its tooth, or with a tusk that had broken off, and there was an infection in the tooth, and it can be incredibly painful, and that is often what causes these rogue elephants to just be wild and unpredictable. It's because of the pain of the broken tusk. Interestingly, they seem to be moving away from the dam. A tuskless elephant bull, is it at a disadvantage, Monica? I definitely think it would be. They use their tusks for so much. It's a real tool. It helps them to dig for food. It helps them to gouge out the bark when they're wanting to strip bark off a tree. Bulls certainly use their tusks in combat with other bulls. So definitely a tuskless bull is at a disadvantage, most definitely. I think a tuskless cow, the same thing. Maybe not so much because of combat. They do use their tusks sometimes to discipline each other or to discipline youngsters, but certainly as a tool, if you don't have tusks, I think it would make life a little bit harder. But that's the amazing thing with elephants, is they help each other out. If they're in a herd, one animal's struggling. You often hear stories of elephants where they've lost the tip of their trunk to a snare, or they're injured in some way. And there are so many documented cases of elephants helping each other out in those circumstances. I've witnessed it not with a tusk, but we had a little elephant, Shane. We used to call her Elvis. We first thought that she was a boy, which is why we named her Elvis. But she was born with deformed hips. And we saw her from a very young age. She was part of a herd down in the south of the Sabi Sands. And she couldn't walk very well, and we never thought she'd make it. We just assumed that she would die pretty quickly. And she lived for years, and her mom and her older sister had to separate themselves from the herd because they just couldn't keep up. This little Elvis was just too slow. She couldn't keep up with the herd. And because of that, it was just the three of them, the mom, the older sister, and Elvis. And they helped her out. They would push her up if she was struggling to get up a steep slope. They would literally come behind her and push her up, and they would slow down so that she kept up with them. You never found her lagging behind. She was always right there with her sister and with her mom. She was never on her own lagging behind. They were very, very protective of her, and we watched her over about 5 or 6 years with them helping her. I think eventually she grew too much, and her body, it was just too heavy for those hips to be able to support her properly anymore. But it was the most incredible thing to see how these elephants helped her out. So yeah, a tuskless elephant, if it was struggling to get at a root, or struggling to be able to gouge bark off a tree, I'm sure some of the herd members would probably give it a hand. That's just how elephants operate. They're amazing creatures. Did you see where the third one went, Paul? Went that way? Yeah. Okay. I think I forgot to introduce you this afternoon, Paul. Did I forget to say Paul's behind the camera? I think I may have, guys. I'm sorry. I've got Paul behind the camera with me doing a sterling job. So one of the ellies has moved further into the thicket here, into a bit of a drainage line. I don't think we're going to follow them. And as loath as I am to leave these ellies, I do actually want to follow up on the unkuhumas while we've still got a decent amount of light in case we need to track them. So I think I'm going to say goodbye to the ellies now, and we'll leave them eating peacefully, and we'll head towards where those lions were left. See if we can follow up there. And while we do that, we are going to send you over to James, who is joining us on Mossy this afternoon, and he'll let you know his plans for the afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this end of the Sunday Sunset Safari. We have got a massive herd of impala here, streaming across the road in front of us, which is rather marvelous. I think they are very put out by this rather strong northwest breeze, should I say gale. We'll just let them run across the road and gather, and then I shall say hello to you. My name is James Hendry. There is my winning Sunday smile. And on camera today is the enormous Cameron. There he is. Okay, and we're going to go back to the impala now, because it's the most impressive herd of impala I've seen for some time. Our plan this afternoon is firstly to find Maxine, because she's stolen my camera bag and my jersey, and so we need to find her. And then we'll probably make our way off towards the east in the continual and inevitably unfruitful search for Tlalamba, the leopardess, and her cubs. One day we're going to be successful. Please talk to us. Remember, #WildEarth on the tweet. Alternatively, the chat streams on YouTube or on our website will work just as well. Your questions, your comments, general banter, they don't have to necessarily be about what you're seeing on screen. They could just be about Africa and safari and conservation, and we'll do our best to engage you with your questions. Magnificent herd of impala, this. Probably what, Cameron, 100 animals? Maybe more than 100. And they've been in this tight-knit group since around about 12:30 this afternoon. I came out here for a small run, and they were running around in this tight-knit group from one place to the other, and then gathering like they're doing now. And I think the wind has really got them feeling pretty miserable. They cannot hear what's coming to get them, and they also will struggle to smell what's coming to get them as well. So they're just a bit skitty. What's also interesting is that they are not a mixed herd. They're all females, and there's that one male on the right-hand side, and then that chap there in the middle. Both of them wasting their time if they think they're going to get lucky. Lauren, you want to know if they also have a pathfinder. This concept, as I said the other day, of a pathfinder has been fairly strongly challenged. It was the idea that in a buffalo herd there are pathfinders, and I'm not convinced that it's true myself. You read about it in general textbooks, but I have read some research that says it's probably not true. Do impalas have pathfinders? Almost certainly not. I think, well, you know that. I don't know that that's true. They could. Maybe there are dominance hierarchies within a little impala herd like this. Maybe the older females do lead the herd because they do travel in a line. I mean, who's deciding where they should go? Who says to them, let's go and have a drink now? There is some sort of thought that herds like this and big buffalo herds move by sort of democracy. If enough animals move off in one direction at one time, then everyone else follows. So it might be something like that more than it is actual dominance or pathfinders. We do know in a buffalo herd that there is a dominance hierarchy amongst the females, and we don't know that for impala, possibly because nobody's ever bothered to check. Okay, on we go. Apparently my bag is back at the camp. Alright, so I'm afraid we're going to have to go back and get it. So we'll have to link to Maxine at some stage, if that's alright. I just can't be out here without a jersey tonight because I will die. It is not warm.
Embark on a wild adventure unlike any other. Join our membership program for an ad-free journey through the heart of Southern Africa. Witness the majesty of wilderness uninterrupted by pesky adverts or annoying intrusions. With our ad-free membership program, you can avoid missing any of the important moments and unlock all sorts of other perks. Subscribe now for an ad-free experience across our entire channel. Immerse yourself in the wonders of the wild and stay permanently connected with nature. Get ready for an adventure of a lifetime. Wild Earth Travel is proud to launch a brand new grand tour. Backed by popular demand, join us for an unforgettable experience where you'll meet Wild Earth presenters from past and present, participate in an exclusive rhino conservation project, and even take a masterclass in wildlife filming. And of course, you'll get up close and personal with your favorite animal characters. Book your spot now and dive into the wild with Wild Earth Travel.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world. When you're on the hunt with wild dogs, you can't afford a pit stop. We need equipment that can handle the toughest conditions, starting with the tires we use. These phenomenal 16-ply tires from BKT are exactly what we need to stay with the action. They're incredibly tough and grip like glue. Best of all, it's almost impossible to put a hole in them. With BKT, we have found the ultimate tire partner in our quest to connect people with nature.
can dance. Do lions always sleep a lot during the day? Mostly. I don't know if you heard that in the background. That sounded like an elephant. They mostly rest a lot during the day. I wouldn't say they're constantly sleeping, but they do rest. They rest for about 18 hours out of 24, approximately. But it also varies, you know, it really does depend on what's going on in their lives. If they're hungry, they might be forced to hunt during the day. It's not their first choice. Shame. They're still looking very jumpy. Look at that. As the wind blew there, she jumped up and looked around. They're definitely not relaxed, these girls. I think they've been through a real ordeal last night. So yeah, because of what's happened to them last night, I would imagine that they haven't slept much today. They may have rested, but it seems like they are a little bit on edge. And with the wind, the way it's been blowing today, they've probably been quite alert. They don't look particularly hungry, but they don't look full either. The one's got her head down. I think what I'm going to do now that they've gotten used to us is try and get a little bit closer to them. I was helped with my navigation a little bit. Cedric did send a little pin drop from this afternoon, which helps us to find them. So that definitely helped, especially for me, still learning all the roads and not familiar with the property yet. It really helps to have a couple of little cheats like that. I think once, like Cedric, when you've been around for as long as he has and you know this property backwards, you don't need those cheats anymore. But for a guide that's new to the property, it really helps. Okay, let's sneak a little bit closer. We'll obviously watch them. If they look like they're unhappy with us or nervous, we'll stop. Don't want to stress them more than they've been stressed already with their ordeal. It really is. After a few days of not seeing them at all, it's great to have them on the property for a bit of a length of time. They're looking good. None of them look injured. So whatever happened last night, none of them look like they're carrying any serious injuries. Is that okay for you and Paul? Which is good news. I just do worry a little bit about the male that was with them. But let's hope that he just got separated and has managed to get himself away from those Plains Camp males. I'm not 100% sure. There have been kind of stories coming through the bush grapevine that they were chased by the Plains Camp males, and that happened down towards more south from us, towards Londolozi area. So I'm not sure. Other than that, I have no more information other than that the Plains Camp males chased them. Whether it was because the male was with them, I don't know. I'm not sure whether the male was actually in the sighting where the Plains Camp males chased them. For those of you that don't know, the Plains Camp males are a pair of territorial males who usually spend quite a bit of time further south in the Sabi Sands. And recently they've been coming north and moving quite a bit out of their territory, really, and causing a bit of havoc in these areas where there are cubs that belong to other males, young males in the pride that belong to other males. Why they've done that, I'm not sure. There was talk that the Kumbula males might have chased them, but the Kumbula males have now headed north into the Manyuleti, so there's no reason for the Plains Camp males to not move back into what was their territory unless there's some other pressure that we're not aware of. It'll all play out, I'm sure, over the next few months and settle down. But when male lion dynamics are like this, where it's not settled and you don't have a male with a, settled in a territory, it can be very hard on the females, very stressful. They kind of don't know who they should be mating with because they don't want to mate with a male that's not going to be around to help protect their cubs. If they have got cubs or maybe older male siblings in the pride that aren't quite ready to go out on their own yet, it's very stressful. They're going to try and avoid those males at all costs. It's not easy to be a lion. It is not easy to be a lion in the wild. They have this reputation of being the king of the jungle and everything being frightened of them, but they have a tough, tough life. They really do. Looks like the flies are bothering that one on her ears. She's really flicking her ears. But we're going to stay with these girls and see what happens, and while we do that, we'll send you over to James and check if he's managed to find some warm clothes for the afternoon drive.
I will survive. I was being slightly dramatic, let's face it. I will survive. I have my jersey. I just wanted to have a quick look at this mound. I've been talking quite a lot in the mornings about how the birds like to come and sit on top of these mounds, especially where there's a vent, and just sort of absorb the warm air over the top of them. And you can see here, can you see that? The white bit. Here a bird has been sat, and this is actually quite freshly closed up. So I'm sure there was a vent here, but the termites have obviously decided that the temperature today or yesterday was too cold, so they've closed up the little vent, and now the termites or the birds are not going to be able to get in there to have their sort of morning heater. I always think it's quite funny to watch them there. It's a little bit like me hanging over the heater here on the car. It's definitely a very active mound, but will be regulated temperature-wise by the opening and closing of vents all the time. Okay, on we go. No, Jerome, they don't do it every day, but they will frequently open and close the vents, depending on the temperature. So the idea is just that the temperature remains, I keep forgetting what it is, around about 35. It's quite hot in there. No, it's not that hot. It's about 28 degrees Celsius, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all metabolic heat created by the termites. And then they let some of it out and keep it in, depending on the ambient temperature. It's very clever. And then when it's really hot, they open up vents at the bottom and at the top, and they get a kind of air conditioning flow through the mound. It's tremendously smart, tremendously smart. Cameron, do you have a good feeling about this afternoon, or do you think that it's going to be quite quiet? Be honest. We certainly are due for something. Aaron, the heat is produced by their metabolisms. So it's the same way you produce heat, except they don't maintain it within their own bodies. So every chemical process, just about, has got some kind of heat generation, and I guess it's an inefficiency of the reaction, and some of the reaction is going to inevitably be heat. So I don't know how much chemistry you've done, but just about every single chemical reaction there is will give off heat as a waste product, and in so doing the energy of the final product is slightly less than the energy of the constituents. Anyway, the same thing happens when you metabolize food. So when you metabolize food, it creates a certain amount of heat, and because you're a mammal, you will retain that heat, and you will retain body temperature of around about 36.5 degrees Celsius or 98 degrees Fahrenheit plus minus. And in the case of an animal like a termite, that heat's just immediately released out into the atmosphere, and in this case into the mound. And if you've got thousands of termites that are giving off tiny little bits of heat as they metabolize their food and go about their business, so that heat will be retained in a well-insulated mound, and that's how they create heat. I hope I've explained that with sufficient complexity and or simplicity for you. I'm sure if you would like some more detail, let me know. Feel free to ask me for any detail, because clearly this part of the reserve, unlike where Maxine is animal free. It's certainly not wind free though. There's a stiff gale. So we'll go straight off towards the east. We're just going to have a quick search around this Buffels Dam, which is the northeast corner, and then I think we probably will go back towards where Maxine is. Around there, and she's got the lions, and it might be nice to have both. Samantha, you say we're long overdue a snake sighting. Yeah, this time of the year it's very unlikely that we're going to see a snake. It was very cold this morning, and I just can't see a snake bothering to come out. Sorts of conditions. But I could be wrong. When it warms up, some of the snakes will come out. They will bask in the sun on days like
Escape to the wild heart of Africa at Chitwa Chitwa Game Lodge in the renowned Sabi Sands. Come and meet Wild Earth's favorite animal characters with an exclusive offer. Pay for 3 nights and enjoy a 4th night absolutely free. Plus, kids go for free. Ready to make your travel dreams a reality? Contact Wild Earth Travel today. Your adventure of a lifetime awaits at Chitwa Chitwa. Wild Earth Travel, where every journey is an epic adventure. Slither into the excitement of Snake Day with a dedicated fireside chat. Whether you're a curious beginner or a seasoned herpetologist, this is your chance to learn, ask questions, and share your passion for snakes. Snake expert Jess Cook will join our Wild Earth guides to talk about all things scaly. Don't miss this engaging and fascinating event. Uncoil the mystery of snakes and join the conversation today.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
Life is very, very tough. Yeah, I just had a look as she rolled over. You could see her teeth quite well, but she doesn't look like she's pregnant or lactating. So I'm not sure. I believe some of them were, I think I heard that some of them were mating a while ago. So lions have a bit of a birth pulse where they tend to give birth in the wet season, but it's not unknown for them to fall pregnant and give birth to cubs in the dry season. From what I could see, just looking at the few females I've had a look at, none of them look obviously pregnant to me. I don't know if you can pick up the sound of the wind on the ambient mic, but there's a constant wind sound which is obviously going to interfere with their hearing quite a bit, which I'm sure is contributing to their nerves. She looks like she's grooming her sister there. Okay. Jared says he's turned the ambient down because it's very windy. I'm sure it must impact on the audio. She looks like she's pulling ticks out of her sister's belly. I suppose that's quite nice if you've got a tick in a place that you can't reach and your sister helps you out. They do allo groom each other. And with lions, you'll always tend to find them when they're sleeping, or often touching each other. Those kind of social bonds are constantly being reinforced by, you know, touching each other and grooming each other all the time. I'm not quite sure who is who there. The one that's being groomed looks like a younger female than the one that is grooming her. So the one that's being groomed has got spots on its leg. I don't know if you can see that. It's coming out quite nicely. So she's young, and the one that's grooming her looks a bit older. So good. I don't quite know who's who yet. I'm still learning these characters. Was it Andy who said would they be able to defend themselves against a male? It would be quite difficult for a female to defend herself against a male. Angie. It would be quite difficult for a female to defend herself against a male. They're not nearly as strong as a male. As a group, they could possibly, you know, come together and maybe keep a male at bay. But most of the time, if a male is attacking a pride of females for whatever reason, they would rather try and run away. It would be very difficult to defend themselves against a big, powerful, dominant male. Oh, nice stretch. She's the only one that's stretching, but stretching is often a sign of possibly getting mobile, getting moving. Maybe she's trying to tell the rest of the pride that she wants to start moving, although now she's laying down again, so it may just have been a stretch. Peace to you. Yeah, I know the feeling. We get very attached to these characters. They really do creep into our hearts. And as much as we know they're wild and we don't have any control over what happens to them, it becomes a very emotional thing with, watching them, understanding what's happening to them, wanting them to be okay. I wonder if they'll hunt tonight. Cedric did say that they were showing interest in some zebra this morning. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to hunt. I was reading a research paper recently that that said that the best size for a pride of lions to be for hunting purposes is about 4 or 5 lions. That is the pride size where they have the most success when they hunt. So it's the ideal pride size for hunting. Lion prides are normally bigger than that, though. It's interesting. So I think the bigger prides are probably more about defense and being able to defend a territory. But that could be one of the reasons why they split up often into these smaller little groups. And it's because a really big pride is actually not that efficient at hunting, and a pride of 4 or 5 has a lot more success. So often people will say, well, why is the pride split up? They're such a, they're bonded and they're a family, and yet you'll find 3 of them over here and 4 of them over there. And I think one of the reasons is because they just have more success hunting if they split into, if they're a bigger pride. Obviously, if they often bring down big game, then having more lions and a stronger force to bring down something like a giraffe would be beneficial. But for the kind of general size game that they take down, 5 is a good number.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today. Discover the wild beauty of Amakhala Game Reserve, where adventure and luxury meet. With 9 spectacular lodges to choose from, Amakhala offers an array of unforgettable experiences. Dive into the heart of the wilderness with a guided hike and spend a night under the stars. Ready to explore and meet the Wild Earth animals and crew? Contact Wild Earth Travel to learn more and book your journey to Amakhala Game Reserve. Get ready for the Winter 2024 Ranger Race. Watch as our guides compete to find the greatest number of animal species in an afternoon safari. Lions, leopards, and elephants are easy to identify, but birds can be a little trickier. Who will emerge victorious and claim the title of Wildlife Champion? Tune in to find out. Be part of the race and back your favorite guide.
Oh, look! 100% Mtanam. Can you give me the spoon, please? How good are you with numbers?
Very good.
100%.
Gogo, look! Yeah.
Hundreds, my boy.
Gogo, it's hundreds.
Yes.
It's always hundreds with 100% pure sunfoil.
Right, well, the elephants have made a bit of a mess here. Can you see this? Shall I go back a bit? If I do that and then get out of the way. There we are. Blue waxbill's nest, but I'll signal.
Well, sorry about James's signal. It seems like he's having some issues there. So you've jumped back to us, which is fine. We're still sitting with semi-sleeping lions. They're not quite sleeping, but they definitely look quite relaxed now. A lot more relaxed than when we first got here. But still, you can see female's got her head up. They seem to be taking it in turns to do that, kind of one at a time. It reminds me a little bit of a group of cheetah when they're resting. You'll often find that a couple of them will have their heads down, one will have its head up, that one puts its head down, someone else puts their head up, and that seems to be what these lions are doing this afternoon. They're kind of taking it in turns to be vigilant. Sorry, I may need to use the game drive radio. I'm just checking if they're asking for an update. Alexis, it's very unlikely that females will join another pride. Hardly ever heard of it happening. Prides are related females, and it's not normal for groups of unrelated females to join up and form a pride together. You know, this pride splits up every now and then, but it's still the same pride of related females that join together again. And sometimes prides will fragment permanently. So if a pride gets too big, you might find that some females go one way, some females go the other way, and they fragment and they never join up again. Because the pride is just too big for hunting, to make hunting efficient. They go their separate ways, but it would be very rare. It may have happened. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but if it has happened, I don't know of it. I don't know of a case where unrelated females have joined together. That's why I think it's quite interesting with what's happening with the Kambulas that are walking around with their sister. And that fascinates me because I really am going to be very interested to see when they finally establish themselves as dominant males, how the female pride that they are dominant over is going to accept that young female that is their sister. Hopefully she will be defended by, her brothers will defend her, and help maybe integrate her into the pride. But that will be a very interesting situation. I'm going to follow that story quite closely. It's fascinating that. It's very unusual for a female to leave the pride with a bunch of males that are now going off on their own to find their own territory. It's a very unusual circumstance, that. I can get a nice look there at her teats, and they look all wet as if she's got cubs, but it's because of where her mom or sister was licking her, taking that tick off earlier. While we sit here with these lions, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the clothing that some of our guides are wearing. Rugged Wear has been amazing in sponsoring the clothing that is worn by the guides, and please go over to their website and have a look at what they have to offer. They've branded our clothing for us, but they really do have some quite amazing bush wear. So if you spend a lot of time in the bush, or if you just want to look kind of bush chic in the city, go over to the Rugged Wear website and have a look at what they have on offer. There's some great clothes there. Yeah, Kenangul, it's fascinating. There's been some really interesting lion dynamics on Djuma over the last while, with what seems to be very unstable male lion dynamics, which is quite strange. So yeah, it is really going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, and whether one of these coalitions that's kind of in the area, whether it's the Plain Camps males or the Mohawk, he might be a little bit past it, or the Kumbulas, who's going to actually eventually settle here as the dominant male. And I think it needs to happen. I think these lionesses all need a stable coalition in the area that is dominant and going to keep all the other male lions out. That's something that needs to happen. I'm just going to have to talk on the Game Drive radio quickly, so just excuse me.
I would like to come and join as a friend. Confirm the location. Yeah, the gather this morning we left east of Weaver's Nest, opposite, very close to the little guy garden on the fabric. We go straight north. We hope to see them over there. Maybe 1 or 4 days. Okay, give that. We're gonna try to dig around the truck. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, stations, there is one vehicle with these animals from this morning. They are lying up pretty much in the same position.
Okay, so that's next scene. We're here at the 2 hours Monty. We're gonna come and join you as a second.
Copy, keep coming. I think best approach is probably from Weaver's Nest, not Treehouse Dam side. Just follow the off-roading tracks in. Sorry about that, I just had to update. Some of the other game drives are wanting to come in and see these lions. So with all the stories that have been going on with these lions and the talk of all the coalition conflict, we're going to show you a quick video clip that deals with exactly that, with conflict in cats. So enjoy that, and we'll stick with these females for now.
While the big cats spend most of their time asleep, their waking hours are often filled with violent conflicts for mates, food, and territory. There's no room for chivalry amongst leopards. This grizzled old male thinks nothing of stealing food from a hard-working young leopardess. The stability of a cheetah coalition is often shattered by a fight for dominance. A lion's size will always deter its hyena cousins. Confronting the clan can shift the balance. But safety is not always found in numbers. Even a pack of wild dogs can fall prey to a lion. Conflict in the wild rarely ends in a peaceful compromise.
Well, that was an interesting little discussion there on the conflict between the different predators, and we know that there is a lot of conflict between the different predators. I have come to the most animal-free zone I think I have ever come across in my life. So we're going to get out of this animal-free zone and hope that it's not my energy that is freeing the place of animals entirely. We're going to head south immediately on ending this road. It is quite astounding, but not surprising given the wind. Animals just do not like wind, any more than most human beings do, except windsurfers and kite surfers, of course. Right, we've turned south. We can now hopefully find something of biological interest. Oh, there's a lilac-breasted roller. Can you believe our luck? Look at that. Here on this tree. Oh, he's gone. He was there. Oh well, Cameron. I'm going to give you a second chance. Okay, are you ready? There we go, you got him now. Andrew, the bush is not actually as sparse as you think it is. It's just much sparser than it is in the summer. But also, there are still very thick thickets that animals can go and shelter from the wind within, and they can go down into the thick vegetation that line the gullies and the sort of drainage lines or small rivers that crisscross Djuma. That is a gorgeous picture there of a lilac-breasted roller. Well done, Cameron. Nice job after you frightened it the first time. I don't really blame the lilac-breasted roller. You are quite frightening on first meeting. But now, much like me meeting you second time round, I feel I can sort of be around you without being too terrified. Yeah, and there's the roller is doing that. And much like most of the birds we've seen on these burnt fire breaks over the last couple of days, Senegal lapwings, ground scraper thrushes, lots of starlings, canaries and waxbills, they're all looking for insects that have been burnt to a crisp during the course of burning the fire break. Shoo. That's a stiff breeze. If that lilac-breasted, yeah, you see, he just had to let go. Just had to let go of the twig that he was sitting on, and he was almost immediately in Nelspruit, which is about 400 kilometers south of us here. Elton, there is a large international group of biologists that name birds, and I don't think, given how randomly some of these birds seem to be named, I don't think there are any specific rules at all. No, I think that they are just, the attempt is basically to make them, those that are taxonomically similar have to have similar names, and also to make sure that the animals are known by the same names in different parts of the world. And certainly there was a major bird name change in the early 2000s that came about because all of the similar birds in East Africa were known by different names, and so there was an attempt to kind of make that the same. That is a crowned lapwing, scourge of the golf course and delight of the game reserve. Massively adaptable bird. It can live just about anywhere other than forest or really true desert, but in some semi-desert areas it will thrive because of its ability to exude salt from a special gland about its nose. I'm glad I don't have a salt gland on my nose. I think white crystals forming on the side of my nose would be very unattractive. Don't you, Cameron? That's really nice. I'll give this day one thing, and that is that the light is certainly making the colors pop. Beautiful pink legs there of the crowned lapwing to match the pink bill. Yes, Oliver, birds have extremely unique, or lots of unique patterns, and just about every bird has got a unique pattern, even those that look semi-identical. When you put them next to each other, they've all got unique patterns. And these birds are not common here. They're not, I mean, I wouldn't describe them as unusual, but I think that they are so enthusiastically taking up residence here because they do like open areas. They lay their eggs basically on bare ground and trust in the eggs' camouflage, and then they hope to make a living in an area like this where they can unearth little insects or ant swarms or ant mounds. Yes, as Cameron says, you can imagine him saying it's not glamorous work, but it's honest, something like that. Certainly. Oliver, you're wondering if there are any flightless birds other than ostriches in Africa? No, there are not. But there are, sorry, I talk rubbish. Penguins are also flightless, but they swim in the sea, and that is, sorry, Renell. That was that helps them to avoid being on land where predators can get them. They'll nest on land where predators can get them, but they can escape predators by getting into the water. So in Africa, in any place where there are mammals, if you are a flightless bird, you'd best be able to swim, or in the case of an ostrich, be much bigger than most mammals and run very fast. Right, well, I think this is probably the longest crowned lapwing sighting in history. Shall we continue?
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Chatting around a fire is an ancient practice that has connected humanity for centuries, and we want to keep it alive in our modern age. As an explorer, you'll have access to intimate gatherings with our naturalists, fascinating guests, and experts where we share knowledge, insights, and stories around a crackling fire. Rediscover the power of connection. Sign up to be an explorer today and experience the magic of Wild Earth's Fireside Chats.
Yes, Freddie, there definitely are. In fact, one of my favorite lions, a lioness called the Salala female, who's part of a pride that I followed for many years when I was working further south in the Sabi Sands. She's been on her own for a long time now, and she's actually doing incredibly well. The last I heard, she had a litter of cubs. She hunts very well, and she seems to be, I'm just going to go out that way. She seems to be doing well on her own. I think it'll be great if some of her cubs are females. I'm really hoping there's some females that can stay with her and kind of reinforce the pride a little bit. But that's not the only one. There are many stories of lions. There was that famous lioness in Zambia in, why have I gone blank? Lady Lua. There was a documentary made of her, and I'm just trying to weave my way through these branches here. She was the only lioness in that particular reserve for a long time. The rest of her pride were all killed by poachers, and she survived for years and years. Eventually they managed to reintroduce some lions, and she didn't die alone, thankfully, but she survived by herself for years and years. When lions are on their own, they can behave very much like leopards. You know, leopards are solitary cats and they're incredibly good hunters, and lions behave the same way. They hunt in the same way, very much kind of stalk and ambush hunting like a leopard would do when they're on their own. So they are definitely capable of being on their own and surviving. Phew, bouncy getting out of this block. Poor Mpo's got to try and keep the camera steady while I'm bouncing him around. Sorry, Mpo. Okay, well, while we're bouncing around in the block, I think James is on a nice smooth road. We're going to go and check in and see what's happening that side, and we're going to look around this side for a bit longer and see if we can come up.
We are on a nice smooth road, but on this nice smooth road we have found some really nice male leopard tracks, and they seem to be on top of just about everything. And they've just disappeared at this junction. I'm going to just quickly jump out the car here and see if I can see where they went. I come in here. They really do look pretty good. I just can't see where they go from here. This is irritating. Well, they're definitely not on the road here. So what's nice about them is that they haven't been disturbed by the wind, and as I've told you, the wind is really howling. I hope they haven't gone in here. That would be deeply irksome. We're on the eastern boundary. No, they haven't gone in there. I'm just going to quickly check around here. There's nothing on the top of that termite mound, is there, Cam? Is that another piece of termite mound? So he comes down here, pum pum pum, and then he disappears. I think he's gone down here. Peace to you, and Belinda. Yeah, he's gone down here. How fresh are they? I would have said that they are, I don't think they're more than an hour old. It's relatively easy to tell because of the wind, and they wouldn't be nearly as crisp if this wind wasn't so strong. And then, can I tell who they belong to? No, I can't. I mean, they're a big male leopard. We're in Mulwati's territory, so could be him, unfortunately. But they could also be young Maripte, who's got some pretty big feet these days. So let's just see where they lead us. It's always a little bit disappointing to find male leopard tracks on this reserve, because if they do belong to Mulwati, of course you're wasting your time. For he is the world's worst TV leopard. He's not here anymore. He has disappeared off the road. Cat fan, you say leopard, you've got your fingers crossed. Well, we've also got our fingers crossed. Just going to try and see where he's disappeared off the road here. It's just been so long since we've had one. About 3 days. Feels like forever. I think he's gone off this road quite quickly after the junction. I suspect he's headed off towards the left there, and I suspect that because that was his general direction. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Catherine. Get Cameron up on a termite mound where he can see for miles. Let's just go around the corner here and see if he doesn't pitch up on that road there, because his general direction was going that way. But he's not on this road anymore. It would just be really nice of him to be on the road, I think. That would be the honourable thing to do. All right, well, Maxine's managed to find herself an animal, so let's go and have a look at what it is, and I'll just try and figure out what's happened over here.
Well, we just popped back to Twin Dams, and what a nice surprise. We came across 2 young male giraffe. Initially they looked like they wanted to go down and drink, but then the one started getting into combat mode. It looks like he's having a bit of a mock fight with the smaller one on the right. I think they would be very unevenly matched. The one on the left is quite a bit bigger than the one on the right, so I don't think it's anything too serious, but they do often spar with each other, giraffe, just testing each other's strengths. It looks like he might want to come down to drink, which will be great. And the little one, little younger male, hopefully will follow him. Very aware. Giraffe often take a long time to decide to drink. They put themselves into such a vulnerable position in order to drink, to stretch those legs out. I'm sure some of you regular viewers have seen it. Stretch their legs out to the side and then lower their heads down, and it really is quite a vulnerable position. So they need to make 100% sure that there's nothing lurking in the bushes that's going to come after them while they're drinking. So they might spend a bit of time around the dam, maybe even feeding for a bit, just checking, making sure there's nothing around, and then go down to drink. Move behind the bushes, but I'm going to stay here for a second because I think they might come down to the water. So really isn't the best view right now, but I think if we head across the dam wall, we won't have a nice view of them drinking if they come down on the side that they're on now. So we'll just be patient for a few minutes.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Are you ready to turn your travel dreams into a reality? Wild Earth Travel is here to make that happen. Africa is full of exciting adventures and stunning wildlife. If you want to meet the Wild Earth crew and animal characters while enjoying a 5-star safari, we can make it happen. Contact us today on info@wildearth.travel or visit our website, and let's turn your African dreams into a reality. We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world. When you're on the hunt with wild dogs, you can't afford a pit stop. We need equipment that can handle the toughest conditions, starting with the tires we use. These phenomenal 16-ply tires from BKT are exactly what we need to stay with the action. They're incredibly tough and grip like glue. Best of all, it's almost impossible to put a hole in them. With BKT, we have found the ultimate tire partner in our quest to connect people with nature.
in case there's any update with those lions starting to move. Lots of elephant dung on the road, I think from those 3 bulls that we saw earlier in this area. How did giraffe communicate with one another? They are not very vocal animals. I have heard them making various snorting sounds and yeah, but they don't, you know, often people will say, oh, giraffe are silent. They're not silent. I have heard them making kind of alarm calls or a snorting sound every now and then. I did read a paper a while ago, and I can't remember who the authors were, but I must try and look it up again, that seemed to suggest that they might use some kind of low frequency communication like elephants do. Not to the same extent as elephants do, but there was a paper that suggested that that might be a possibility. I think there was more research that was going to happen, and I haven't actually followed up on that, so I'm not sure. But that would be quite interesting if they do communicate with low frequency sounds. They definitely are predominantly silent. Oh, there's 3. So we missed one. I can see just around the corner. I don't know if you can see it with the camera there. Is it okay if I roll forward a little bit? Okay. Just going to go forward a bit without upsetting them too much. See if we can get a view. Oh my word, there's more than 3. There's a whole bunch of them in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think maybe 6, 7. Oh, there's a huge big male in the back who's quite dark. Let's try frame up on one of them nicely though. What about this one here, Paul? You got that one? Is that all right? Okay. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7, possibly 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. That's a lovely little herd of giraffe. And they're all eating tamboti leaves. I think for the regular viewers, I think Steve spoke about this quite a bit a couple of weeks ago, about how the giraffe at the moment are feeding quite a lot on tamboti leaves. And tamboti, as many of you may know, is quite toxic. As a human, you don't want to eat those leaves. You don't even want to cook food on a fire that's made with tamboti wood. It's a very toxic plant, and yet it seems to be that certain animals can feed on it without too much. Sorry, just gonna, wow, look at them move down that slope. That was lovely. Yeah, certain animals can feed on tamboti without coming to too much harm. They do choose certain times of the year though to feed on the tamboti, and it's probably when there's not as much of that sap in the leaves, the poisonous milky sap. But they certainly have a digestive system that can cope with these toxins. Look at it negotiating that little drop there, looking very carefully. Yeah, they, I suppose they have to be really careful when they're going down a slope like that. You know, if a giraffe falls down, it can be very difficult for it to get back up again. They can, but when they lie down, they kind of tuck their legs underneath them. They don't lie splayed on their sides. And if they stumble and fall, they could easily break a leg or fall down and struggle to get back up. So they've got to be quite careful with how they negotiate slopes. Let's see if we can get another little view. There was a beautiful male. He was quite, or big male. He was quite well hidden in the tamboti thicket. I'm not sure if we'll get a view of him. Very big, dark male. How's the signal down here, Mpho, if I go through? Okay, I'm going to try and hope we don't lose signal. If we lose signal, I'll come back up again. That would actually be a lovely view. Hopefully you're still with me. I'm not sure what the signal's doing. Oh. I think if the signal's a bit sketchy, let's check in with James and I'll try find a spot where we can still view these giraffe and have some good signal.
Right, we have found our tracks again, and they're now at this junction, and I think they're going down this, yes there they are, they're going down this road here. Okay, good. Well, more and more likely that it's Mulwati. I found an enormous pile of his poop, and well, that is normally indicative of an animal marking his territory. But these tracks are still pretty fresh, I would have said. Maybe we'll be very lucky and come round the corner and there he'll be. Still here, that's good. Watch heads. I don't see him here anymore, but the road is very hard and the grass is now very long. Come on, just be on the road. Just be strolling down the road for us. No need to make this difficult. No, he is not here anymore. I think he's gone in there. Paul, it's definitely easier to track in the morning than it is in the evening. The evening is difficult because there are far fewer signs. So most things will have moved around during the sort of crepuscular times of the day. And so it's quite tricky sometimes to figure out, you know, it's quite tricky to figure out how old tracks are. That said, if you find tracks like these ones, which indicate that the animal's been moving now, then, you know, it's quite good. The morning is better because everything's quite fresh, and things that have been moving will probably still be moving. Whereas often in the afternoon you have to come out and you pick up a cold trail from the morning. So tracks like this are pretty good. But he has disappeared off the road. It's worth just carrying on along here. We can't get a vehicle in there. That would be impossible. I mean, I'd make an attempt if I saw a leopard in there. But I think that this is looking more and more like Mulwati the male, and that means that, you know, following him or trying to follow his tracks is just a fool's errand. Still, always fun just to follow them for a while, see where they go. Maxine is on fire this afternoon, which is great. She's back with her giraffe and she's got some signal. Let's go and take a look.
Gosh, we had such an interesting thing happen as we left these giraffe. The one giraffe decided that it was going to follow us. It came all the way through the drainage line and came right up to us. And Paul thought he was going to get hunted by a giraffe. But it went back again as they linked to us. So, but there's two in the background there that have been necking with each other the whole time. I don't know if you can see it. It's showing up quite well. They're trying to push each other over at the moment, and they do that. They stand kind of head to toe or head to tail and bang their heads into each other and lean their whole body weight on the other animal, trying to knock it off its feet. This isn't a very serious fight right now. It's just a bit of a mock fight. I would love to take us closer, but unfortunately the signal gets bad as we go down into that dip, so we're going to have to view it from afar. This is the little one that came chasing down into the drainage line after us. I was very curious about what we were doing, and then hightailed it back the other side of the drainage line as we went on air. There is a beautiful big male that I've been trying to show you, but he's hiding in the Tambuoti thicket. A very old, dark, huge male. I just haven't been able to get him on camera yet. It's quite a nice big boy there. Seems to just be a group of males, old males, young males. The younger males still have hair on the top of their horns. Do mammals get teething problems just like humans? Gosh, Claudine, I have no idea. I mean, if I think about it logically, if you think of having a puppy, they tend to want to, they go through that phase of wanting to just chew everything. And I'm sure that's probably got to do with you know, losing their baby or their milk teeth and those new teeth coming through, and they just want to, they chew your slippers, they chew the newspaper, they chew everything. So from that point of view, I would say yes. I've never read anything about particular teething problems in animals, but it does make sense that as they lose those milk teeth, that it would be quite kind of raw and itchy as the new teeth are coming through. But I'm just guessing. I'm just going by kind of logic of what I've experienced with owning puppies that just chew up everything in sight during a certain stage. I have seen young lions and young leopards also just, you know, getting hold of stuff and chewing it. So possibly they go through that same phase where their gums are sore and itchy. It would make sense.
Maybe let's try this.
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday. Get ready for an adventure of a lifetime. Wild Earth Travel is proud to launch a brand new grand tour. Backed by popular demand, join us for an unforgettable experience where you'll meet Wild Earth presenters from past and present, participate in an exclusive rhino conservation project, and even take a masterclass in wildlife filming. And of course, you'll get up close and personal with your favorite animal characters. Book your spot now and dive into the wild with Wild Earth Travel. Do you sometimes imagine what Wild Earth would be like without adverts? A chance to properly immerse yourself in nature without any interruptions. Sign up to be an explorer for a small monthly fee and you can truly escape into the wilderness. Ad-free viewing is now available on our app as well as on our website. Wild Earth, it's in your nature.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
It is lovely to see a tower of giraffe, Annelie. I love that collective noun for giraffes. One of the other collective nouns for giraffes is a journey of giraffes, but I like tower. It's definitely more descriptive. Such a lovely giraffe sighting. I think you've got to, often in this part of the Sabi Sand, you've got to work quite hard to find giraffe. So we've been really lucky this afternoon with our giraffe sighting. And it's also nice to just sit quietly and listen. We're in a section of the property with this beautiful drainage line, which is a dry riverbed. Running kind of between us and the giraffe, and this is just typical leopard territory. So it's always nice to sit in these kind of areas and listen. You never know what you might hear or what might come walking down the riverbed. Exactly, that's exactly what they're doing, Tina. They are showing off their muscles. They're testing each other's strength. And none of them are fighting terribly. None of them are really getting into a serious fight with each other. They're just trying to establish who's the kind of top of the pecking order. And there's quite a varied age in amongst this group of giraffe. There's quite young ones, and then a very old bull. Or a very mature bull. I don't know if he's old. He looks like he's in really good condition still. Yo, that fight's getting a bit... I don't know if you can see those two are really getting a little bit more serious. Wow. Just as I was saying, they weren't taking it too seriously. Two of them have really started thumping at each other. I don't know if you can hear the sounds with the ambient mic, but they are hitting each other so hard with those horns and crashing the bushes. I'm going to keep quiet for a bit. Shh. Ow. That must be sore. That's a good question, Patrick, because often darker coloring in these animals means a higher level of testosterone. It certainly is the case in lions, where dark-maned lions have got higher testosterone. So it could be, but with giraffe, the coloring is so varied that I think it has maybe a little bit to do with hormones and also a little bit to do with genetics, because sometimes you find really big, dark, powerful males that are older that aren't as dark. So I think it could be a combination of testosterone and genetics. And higher testosterone will mean more aggression and probably mean dominance. Often those animals that have got higher testosterone levels are just more aggressive and tend to be the more dominant ones. But it's not, I think it's more likely a combination of testosterone and genetics that have given him that really dark color. It was interesting how he came over to that whole sparring match that was happening, and I don't know whether he came over, it looks almost like he came over to appease them, but I'm just looking carefully to see whether he didn't want to get involved in the sparring match himself. But it almost seemed like as he came over to them, they stopped. So maybe he was just an older bull saying, come on, that's enough, lads. Just leave each other alone. But he seems to be leaning up against one of those giraffe now as well himself. Very interesting behavior. Let's hope the two bigger ones don't gang up on that little one in the middle. Andrew, the video guy, I don't know if they would do it consciously in terms of looking out for each other, but if a group like this come down, they're probably not all going to drink at exactly the same time. So just coincidentally, you'll find that one will be, making their way down or checking the surroundings out while some of the others are drinking. So they, just by coincidence, they might end up looking out for each other. I'm not sure whether it would be a conscious decision to say, well, you drink first and I'll look out. I think the bonds between giraffe are not as strong as, for instance, in a lion pride. So I'm not sure that they would consciously want to take care of each other like that. But in a group like this, it would probably happen just because a bigger group of animals is going to, be more aware and have more eyes and ears. And it makes sense to, to be in a big group and to kind of have more eyes and ears looking around. But I don't think there's a conscious decision at waterholes to kind of take it in turns to drink. Those two are still at it, the two younger ones. You can actually hear his horns hitting the body of the other giraffe, really thumping into the body. I have heard of giraffe breaking each other's ribs in these kinds of combats. They can sometimes do really serious damage to each other. I don't think these two would. They're still quite young, they're still practicing, but big males like that big dark male, they can end up really injuring each other quite badly if the fight is kind of even and there's no clear dominant individual. The fights can go on for quite some time and can be really quite serious. Elka, the young boys have had too much tambuti. I think you're right. They definitely need to lay off the tumbuti and go sleep it off. Someone needs to tell them to calm down. What I want to do as these giraffe head further into this drainage line is I am going to maybe head back towards those lions and see, as it's getting cooler and getting darker, they might start moving. So we're not too far from them, and I think it might be worth just popping back in there and seeing what's happening, because we're not going to be able to follow these giraffe. It goes into that area where the signal is a bit unstable.
Embark on a wild adventure unlike any other. Join our membership program for an ad-free journey through the heart of Southern Africa. Witness the majesty of wilderness uninterrupted by pesky adverts or annoying intrusions. With our ad-free membership program, you can avoid missing any of the important moments and unlock all sorts of other perks. Subscribe now for an ad-free experience across our entire channel. Immerse yourself in the wonders of the wild and stay permanently connected with nature. Escape to the wild heart of Africa at Chitwa Chitwa Game Lodge in the renowned Sabi Sands. Come and meet Wild Earth's favorite animal characters with an exclusive offer. Pay for 3 nights and enjoy a 4th night absolutely free. Plus, kids go for free. Ready to make your travel dreams a reality? Contact Wild Earth Travel today. Your adventure of a lifetime awaits at Chitwa Chitwa. Wild Earth Travel, where every journey is an epic adventure.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
100% mtanangu. Can you give me the spoon, please? How good are you with numbers?
Very good.
100%.
Gogo, look. Yeah.
Hundreds, my boy.
Gogo, it's hundreds.
Yes.
It's always hundreds with 100% pure sunfoil.
I tell you what is so impressive about Maxine is that obviously she's never worked here before. She does watch the show and has watched for a while, but you'll notice her talking about all our characters. It's because she's made the effort to go and learn about them. She's a veteran professional at. Elka, you say that nature is so healing. It is healing. It's just healing to be out here. You're absolutely correct. And you know what? The wind seems to be dropping, which is very pleasurable indeed. There is a red-billed hornbill. Its beak is the same color as those minuscule fruits that blew the mind of Cameron on camera. Are you still trying to recover? I don't blame you. That was a shocking exposition. Beautiful. In the background you can hear the Cape turtle dove and the Cape glossy starling.
Sound exactly like that.
They do, don't they? Yeah. I am renowned for my ability to imitate the Cape glossy starling. You can look on the road as well, Cameron, if you really want your mind blown. There are some crested francolins. Do you see them? Now remember, everybody has a birthday once a year. Some people I know have two. I'm not sure how they manage it, but they do. And if you would like to give the gift of nature to somebody you know, even if a complete stranger, you can do that by going to gift.wildearth.tv, and you can give a year's worth of Impala Explorer membership to anyone you like. If you can't think of anyone in particular, you can add it to the gift pool and we'll allocate it for you. And if you happen to know somebody who would like a gift like this, well, you just fill in their details and they will immediately become an Impala member. gift.wildearth.tv. And of course, that really does help us in our mission too. The more explorers or YouTube members we have, the better. Okay, on we go. Crested francolins for the win. Get out of the way, birds. We're going to find leopards. Swarms of them. You'll see. A swarm of leopards. The mail tracks disappeared off that road. I didn't find them again. I'm 90% sure it was Mulwati, so I kind of didn't try too hard after that. Mulwati, if you are a new viewer, is a male leopard here. Magnificent old male leopard, but he's about as useful for TV as, well, a bat, really. You know, bats are very difficult to film, so is Mulwati. We can have a little sunset shot there. How about that, Cameron? Let's help your mind to calm down after that quite stunning red fruit segment we did. And we'll calm ourselves with the Sunday sunset. We won't wait for the sun to go down entirely, because that will take 20 minutes. And frankly, who has that time these days? That's really quite pretty. Jared, I tell you what we should do. We should just sunfoil this moment anyway, 90 seconds early. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 seconds earlier than normal, we are going to move into Sunfoil's Golden Hour. Sponsored by Sunfoil. 100% pure sunflower oil. And it's almost as gold as the sunset. And I'm giggling because Jarrett is now, his mind is as blown as Cameron's was, because we've done the Sunfoil Golden Hour 90 seconds before schedule. He's having to lie down to have a drink in the final control room. Good. Well done, Cameron. Have you emblazoned that in your mind? Do you feel calmer now? Good. I'm glad that we have calmed you. You are a panicker, yes. Yes, you are somebody who gets extremely overexcited. Yeah, just calm down to a mild panic. I remember somebody said that to me once. I came rushing into a room in a absolute tizwazzle, and they said to me, I think it was a girlfriend actually, she said, just calm down to a mild panic. Which of course was very unhelpful. Right, well, Maxine's got some more lions now. I think it's the same lot, but let's go back and have a look at what they're doing.
Well, we've also got the sun setting behind us, but obviously a little bit more interested now in the lionesses. They do look like they could start to get moving. Typical lions, stretching, grooming a little bit. Two of them are still passed out, but these two seem to be looking like they could get a bit more active, which will be great. If they do, we'll try our best to follow them. See the two there that are just cuddled up together. It's so cute. Paws touching each other, paws draped over each other, tails draped over each other. Just really important social bonding. All of this physical contact, just reinforcing the bonds between these females all the time. That's a typical sign of a lion that wants to move. That yawning. Just like yawning is contagious with humans, it seems to be contagious with lions too. 3 out of the 4 have now yawned more than once. Coming at them from a slightly different angle this time. It's just given me an opportunity to have a look at the, given me an opportunity to look at their body condition. And I said earlier that I didn't think they were injured from whatever happened to them last night, and I can reiterate that now. They don't seem to have any sign of any bite marks or claw marks on them. They all seem to look fine and in good health, which is great. That's good news. Whatever their ordeal was, they've come through it in good health. Drops really quickly, and it actually starts to drop just before sunset. I can still see the sun, and I've already got my jersey on. I think it's already dropped probably a good 5 degrees just in the last half an hour. Yeah, once the sun sets, it drops again really quite substantially, especially down in the dips. But that's fine for these lions. That's what they'll want. They prefer to hunt when it's cooler, so it's good for them. And with the wind the way it is now, earlier on in the day it was swirling, but now we've got a pretty consistent wind that's coming to us kind of from the west, maybe northwest slightly, and that plays into the lion's hands. That is a favorable situation for them if they're hunting. They are very aware of wind direction when they hunt. Most predators are, and invariably they hunt into the wind. They want the wind blowing at them. They don't want the wind blowing from them to whatever it is that they are trying to hunt. So you'll probably find when these girls get going, if they want to hunt, they're going to head in a northwesterly direction, which is the direction that the wind is coming from. Obviously, if they don't want to hunt, maybe they're going to go down to the dam first and have some water. But if they're keen to hunt tonight and the wind is this consistent, they'll hunt into the wind. And when I say hunt into the wind, obviously they'll move into the wind until they find something that they want to catch. And then, of course, they've got to, then it depends on the surroundings in the immediate area where they've seen something. But when they're just moving and trying to come across a herd that they might want to hunt, they'll move into the wind. It's a bit of both, Patrick. They do groom most days when they've rested up for the day and they're getting ready to go out and hunt. They will groom. They'll allo groom, they'll groom themselves, they'll groom each other. And I think it is almost routine. And it's also social bonding, this grooming of each other, cleaning each other, taking ticks off each other is very, very important for social bonding. And then obviously it's very important to keep each other clean as well. So there's a few different reasons why they would groom. But they definitely do it routinely just before they start moving. Almost every time. They will, at this time of the day, they'll start yawning, they'll start stretching, then there's a bit of grooming that happens. A little bit more yawning and stretching. Sometimes they might go off and do their ablutions, and then they kind of head off and move to water or move to hunt. It is quite important that they keep themselves clean. They don't want to be too smelly, because the smell of a lion, if it's very strong, is going to warn predators, or not warn predators, warn things that they might want to hunt, that they are approaching. So they can get really quite disgustingly filthy when they're on a kill, but pretty soon after finishing a kill, they look pristine and clean again. They groom each other and clean each other up. They wouldn't want all of that blood and gore to rot on their bodies, because that's really just going to send a very clear signal to any impala or wildebeest or potential prey that they are approaching. So grooming is very important for that reason as well.
Discover the wild beauty of Amakhala Game Reserve, where adventure and luxury meet. With 9 spectacular lodges to choose from, Amakhala offers an array of unforgettable experiences. Dive into the heart of the wilderness with a guided hike and spend a night under the stars. Ready to explore and meet the Wild Earth animals and crew? Contact Wild Earth Travel to learn more and book your journey to Amakhala Game Reserve. Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature.
Into these animals' lives that we get, and I just feel that is such a privilege that they allow us these moments of insight into all different aspects of their life, from grooming to killing to mating. It's phenomenal what we get to witness out here. It really is a real privilege, and such a privilege to be able to share it with those of you that can't be right with us at the moment. What would make the sighting so special for me is if the little Nkuhuma male would suddenly appear now. I'm really a little bit worried about him, and I hope he makes an appearance soon. It would be incredible if he joined these 4 girls. I think it would put everyone's minds at ease. Hopefully sometime in the night they'll link up with him again. Oh, sorry girl. She looks like she's coughing up a fur ball after all that grooming. They do that, just like your domestic cats. Their tongues are so rough that it obviously takes quite a lot of fur off their bodies as they groom. They do sometimes have to just get rid of it. Well, we're going to sit here with these girls a little bit longer, see what they do. But while we do that, James is at Gowrie Dam. Let's go see what he's found.
Well, James has continued the form of his drive so far and failed dismally to find anything resembling a mammal. You can hear some alarm calling arrow-marked babblers just up ahead. Let me go forward a bit. Andrew, the video guy, thank you very much for your comment about the 2 birthdays. You say the Greeks have 2 birthdays. The day of your birth and the day you were named. Oh, nice. Nice to know. Going to go past this thick bunch of sticks here, otherwise known as a bush. You can hear a thrush there. Was that a better imitation, Cameron?
Yeah, and the other one was spot on. So.
Yeah, thanks. And those white flowers, can you zoom in upon them, please? Phew. Is that as close as you can get? Ah, it's alright, I've got it. They're jasminium. How interesting. At this time of year, jasminium, and that little ant you can see crawling across there is a polyrachus ant. The one coming towards it, I'm not sure. Nice little ecosystem occurring on one little branch. Those babblers are not happy. But they're not exactly terrified either. I assumed that the buffalo would eventually come down for another drink, but I see that they're just not going to do that. Can what?
Can dance.
Can dance. I was so shocked by that name that I don't remember the question. Do you? Amazing to see a flowering plant in winter. Thank you. Yes, can dance. It is amazing to see. I can see the babblers shouting there. I just wonder if they're not following something like a mongoose or a leopard. With my luck, it might be a small rodent. A rabid squirrel. Nothing. There was a drongo, fork-tailed drongo, very exciting. Where those buffalo went, I don't know. Alright, let's turn around, and I think I really should make a bit of an effort to get across to the western side of the reserve. We've really thoroughly done the east. William, you say my plant knowledge must be quite good. It's not too bad for this part of the world. It's not great in other parts of the world. But this is the part of the world where I work most. And it's, you know, it's really, it's an important part of guiding, because let's say I'd had guests on this vehicle today and we'd had a tricky drive like this. If you relying on big game sightings only and you can't talk about the plants, well, your guests are not going to have much to say or to listen to on a drive like we've had today with one herd of impala and 3 kudu. It's not like they can hop onto Maxine's vehicle when they get a bit bored, unlike you guys who can. Okay. Let's go to a totally different area for the last 40 minutes. See what turns up. I have thoroughly searched this section. The wind has dropped, so I wonder if things aren't going to start coming out of it now. We won't have a little bit more luck as darkness begins to fall.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world. When you're on the hunt with wild dogs, you can't afford a pit stop. We need equipment that can handle the toughest conditions, starting with the tires we use. These phenomenal 16-ply tires from BKT are exactly what we need to stay with the action. They're incredibly tough and grip like glue. Best of all, it's almost impossible to put a hole in them. With BKT, we have found the ultimate tire partner in our quest to connect people with nature.
They're not in a deep sleep, Nick. Even the lioness that's been the least active all afternoon, she keeps moving and kind of twitching her ears and flicking her tail every now and then. Her head moves. Haven't really been able to see whether her eyes are open, but she definitely seems to be aware. Every now and then she's kind of half lifted her head and looked at the other lionesses. They can't really afford to ever be in a deep, deep sleep. Even lions, even these kind of dominant predators that dominate all other predators, they still have to keep their wits about them. They wouldn't want a clan of hyenas to come upon them unannounced, or those males that chased them last night. They would want to be aware. So even when their eyes are closed, their other senses are still working. They're listening, they are smelling, and they would not sleep the way we know sleep. Humans go into this deep sleep, but wild animals, there are very few wild animals that can go into the kind of sleep that humans do. They need to keep their wits about them. Catherine, I agree it would be, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that tonight. They definitely seem to have settled down again, and I'm almost convinced that it's because of that female on the left. She just doesn't look ready to move yet. She's been really quite, I wouldn't say sleeping deeply as we've just discussed, but she's needed her rest this afternoon. I'm sure if she gets up, the other three will follow. Or perhaps if one of the other three get a bit impatient, they'll go and try and rouse her, nudge her with their head and start grooming her and wake her up. Shame she's got an itchy ear, that female. It's amazing how she's bending. I don't know if you could see it clearly on the camera, but she's kind of bending her toes to get them into that ear. I don't know if there's a fly that's gone in there or what's happened, but she's trying to dig right into her ear. Shame, girl. Sorry. Yeah, that's true. It was very focused. It really looked like she was trying to get her toes in to scratch something quite deep in her ear. Oh, some more stretching. Well, they certainly are well rested. They did not move an inch from where Cedric left them this morning. But they probably needed it after last night to just have a whole day of rest. Okay, well, I think James is searching around trying to find something. He's at a water hole. We're going to sit here for a few more minutes, but if it looks like they're not doing anything, we might leave them and just hope for something else on the way home. So the next time you see us, we might be on a leopard hunt.
Yes, I'm not so much searching for anything and everything as just anything. Literally, I will take anything at this point. Here we are at Treehouse Waterhole, where Dewey the hippopotamus has been living until today, until this afternoon. It is quite staggering. You'll be pleased to know that I did see some impala. They were the same impala that we had at the very beginning. So we didn't do them again. Anyway, it's turning into a rather beautiful evening with the wind having slowed down. And here we are looking at the pinkening sky as the last embers of the day slowly fade. Ruth, you said it would be so cool if we saw Dewey the hippopotamus walking to another dam. Yes, I suppose it would. I think it would be cooler if he decided to, you know, pitch up here. Lovely view there of the red-billed buffalo weavers. They are one of the few bird species that will maintain and retain nests during the non-breeding season. So they'll use those little blocks of flats that they build for the duration of the winter. And that's to keep themselves warm and probably also to maintain the social bonds. And I know I've told you this before, or many of you this before, but I always think it's quite clever. Frequently you'll find those things on the northwestern side of the tree. And the reason for being on the northwestern side of the tree is that in the winter, exactly this time of the year, the sun goes down in the northwest. And in summer, when it's very beastly hot, it goes down in the southwest, and that means that they've got shade in the very hottest parts of the year and nice sun in the cooler parts of the year. So I think that's quite a good strategy. A nice question there from somebody whose name I've forgotten about whether or not birds are solitary, or all animals are solitary when they're not breeding for the most part. Terence, no. There are some animals that are solitary unless they're breeding, leopards being a wonderful example of those. Lions are not solitary at all. They are social all the time. And lots of colonial sort of creatures like bats or red-billed buffalo weavers will associate in mixed gender groups. So no, it's not true that a lot of animals will only come together for mating. All right, Cameron, let's carry on from this astounding sighting of a red-billed buffalo weaver's nest. We did have the red-billed buffalo weavers as well, which I think was very exciting indeed. Let's carry on around this way. Maxine's not far from here, so we'll leave that section to her. No doubt all of the animals are in that small section that she is. I don't know where those buffalo went either. That big herd we had this morning. We're going to go into infra. Look at that. There's an animal. It's an animal. It's an elephant. Oh, we're saved. It's 3 elephants. Whew. The afternoon is saved. Can you believe it, Cameron?
Is this happening?
Is this really happening? It is. It's not just a dream. We are genuinely viewing a high-profile animal on Game Drive on Sunday, the 7th of July, the year of our Lord 2024. This elephant is trying to pull up some combretum or bush willow sticks. Fair point, Kathy. You say, "Yay for Ellies," but I believe we were promised swarms of leopards. I don't think I promised you a swarm of leopards. Hyenas going? Sounds like another elephant. Beautiful. Let's see what he does. There's definitely something coming down to the water to have a drink as well. Might actually be a buffalo herd. Anyway, let's stay with this elephant bull. It looks like 3 of them, and they will be just a little bachelor group. They're not particularly young, so 3 adults who've come together for the weekend. Maybe it's a sort of golf weekend, and they'll go off on their own again fairly soon. Could you come out from behind those sticks? Would that be possible? Hey 40, I have a number of lucky socks given to me by the lucky sock wearer and purveyor, Catherine Alhauser. Now it appears that we're going to die. Cameron, I did enjoy knowing you. I hope that we are not made late by this elephant. I think he's just trying his luck, though. I'm not particularly worried about him given his age. See, he's now doesn't really know what to do because we haven't shrieked and run away in terror. So now he's pretending actually he was just looking to see what this bit of bush tastes like. It wasn't that he was trying to frighten us. Come on then, come say hi. We very much appreciate your presence here. More than you know after 2.5 hours of looking. Very dramatic, Vince, and sometimes really rather over dramatic. Okay, we're going to go into infrared. I don't know if you've ever seen elephants around wild dogs, Vince, but they behave as if their lives are imminently to be ended. And yet there's no wild dog that's ever killed an elephant, and they behave in an extremely dramatic fashion. Something is having a drink. I'm sure it's another elephant. Shall we just go back a bit, Cam, and see if we can see what's at the water there? Yeah, this chap's he was very brave until we something's having a drink at the dam here. I think. Unless is it a big elephant with big tusks? We must ask him a question. Ew, he's got monstrous tusks. This is very nice. Excellent. I think it was him making those kind of sighing noises. Oh, and there's a hyena. Gosh, our cup runneth over. It's all happening. No, you're right, Maureen. I will try to stay calm enough and not pass out. That is a magnificent elephant bull, and what a lovely picture of him. And then there is a hyena as well, having a drink. This bull's been around for a couple of days now. And there's the hyena. Hello. Look at the lapwing chasing him off, sending him on his way. What is your name? Which one are you? One of you clever viewers will be able to identify this chap. Oh, I thought he was going to come past me and give me a high five. But no. True, Teresa. A slow day in the bush beats any day in the city. Correct. Oh, he's a lovely chap, this, isn't he? Let's watch him carefully here. I thought for 1 second there that he was missing the tip of his trunk, and that's why he was making such a noise when he arrived, but that he isn't. His trunk is perfectly intact. What a gorgeous view. He's definitely very aware of us. That's why he stopped drinking when we came up.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. help us connect people to nature.
Are you ready to turn your travel dreams into a reality? Wild Earth Travel is here to make that happen. Africa is full of exciting adventures and stunning wildlife. If you want to meet the Wild Earth crew and animal characters while enjoying a 5-star safari, we can make it happen. Contact us today on info@wildearth.travel or visit our website, and let's turn your African dreams into a reality.
Slither into the excitement of Snake Day with a dedicated fireside chat. Whether you're a curious beginner or a seasoned herpetologist, this is your chance to learn, ask questions, and share your passion for snakes. Snake expert Jess Cook will join our Wild Earth guides to talk about all things scaly. Don't miss this engaging and fascinating event. Uncoil the mystery of snakes and join the conversation today.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
And what's really amazing about that reflection, Janine, is that we can't see it with our naked eyes like you can there in infrared. I can just see two shadows there. Whereas in actual fact, it's quite a well-defined reflection, that, as we watch this massive fellow. An impressive animal. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Picky. You've identified that hyena, and you say it was Watson. Indeed. Watson and Sherlock, who joined the clan when? Probably around, still the wet season, so probably February or March, I think. Watson and Sherlock pitched up, two immigrant males. Such a subdued dusk chorus. Very little sound except the odd drongo, and then far in the distance a white-browed scrub robin. Yeah, they do, Nathan. Elephants do need to eat more when the grass is brown, when it's dry. And they also change their diet. The big thing for elephants and animals like zebras is that they can, it's slightly different, but they can push through more food when the food quality drops. Whereas the same does not apply to a ruminant, which must re-chew its food. But the big thing with elephants is that when the grass forage drops in quality, they move on to sticks and twigs and leaves that have a bit more moisture stored in them, and then the leaves from trees, evergreen trees, and they'll look for pods and that sort of thing as well. But in essence, yes, they will probably have to eat more in order to derive the same nutrition when the grass is brown or during the dry season. Wonderful sighting. Is this, I'm wondering if this is the same guy we had at Buffelshoek Dam in the northeast about when? Must have been 3 days ago now. No, more, 4 or 5 days ago now. And he stood around like this, and he'd take one mouthful of water and then squirt it into his mouth and then stand there like this. Were you with me, Cam?
No.
Was that with Paul? Yeah, he just stand for ages. Maybe he's depressed. Yeah. Stayed there for 45 minutes. That's correct, Jared. It is when I had my nap. Another hyena calling way off to the north. Whoop. You can hear the hyenas walking as it's calling. You can hear just a slight quaver in its voice. So it's definitely on a territorial patrol. Yeah, not even really drinking, just sort of squirting disgusting, muddy, hippo dung infested is the wrong word, but hippo dung infused, terrapin dung infused, fish infused, buffalo dung infused water into his mouth and then kind of spitting it out again.
With some plum and grapefruit notes.
With some notes of plum and grapefruit, yes, exactly. Shall we have a quick look at the recently risen moon? Well, not recently risen, it's been risen for a long time, but there is a crescent moon. It's finally, I believe, beginning to wax. Beautiful. Look at that. I'm sure it must have some sort of deep spiritual meaning to see the crescent moon like this. I've no idea what it is. Cameron, do you?
Apparently if you see a crescent moon
Yes.
like this above the elephants in Africa,
Yes.
the next blizzard that you're in is going to be really cold.
Really?
Yeah.
So just let me get that right. If you see a crescent moon above an elephant in Africa, the next blizzard you experience will be particularly cold.
Correct.
Okay.
So I've heard.
You've heard that, have you?
Don't quote me on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't quote you on that, I don't think. Mainly because I don't believe you, but I won't quote you just in case you've got it slightly wrong. Right, let's take one more look at this elephant. And then we'll start drifting slowly towards the north, I think.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos. And help us to connect people to nature.
Get ready for an adventure of a lifetime. Wild Earth Travel is proud to launch a brand new grand tour. Backed by popular demand, join us for an unforgettable experience where you'll meet Wild Earth presenters from past and present, participate in an exclusive rhino conservation project, and even take a masterclass in wildlife filming. And of course, you'll get up close and personal with your favorite animal characters. Book your spot now and dive into the wild with Wild Earth Travel. Get ready for the Winter 2024 Ranger Race. Watch as our guides compete to find the greatest number of animal species in an afternoon safari. Lions, leopards, and elephants are easy to identify, but birds can be a little trickier. Who will emerge victorious and claim the title of Wildlife Champion? Tune in to find out. Be part of the race and back your favorite guide.
100% mtanami. Can you give me the spoon, please? How good are you with numbers?
Very good.
100%.
Gogo, look. Yeah.
Hundreds, my boy.
Gogo, it's hundreds.
Yes.
It's always hundreds with 100% pure sunfoil.
I have a favorite sighting so far in Djuma. Gosh, Zane, I was on the back of the drive with James one day when I caught a little glimpse of Ribbon's cubs, so that was quite cool. And yeah, there's so much that I've seen. The Nkuhumas are very special. I've been following them from a distance for a long time, so I think it's been very special to get to meet them in person, and I hope to spend a lot more time with them in person. They really are a very special little pride. So probably spending time with the Nkuhumas. I am a bit of a cat or a predator person. I love predators. So the sighting this afternoon with those Nkuhumas was quite special. I'm still waiting for some of the leopards to show them, or for any of the leopards at Djuma to show themselves to me. That's going to be very special when that happens. I can't wait to get to see some of these characters. But yeah, the Nyala sighting the other day that I had was interesting with them. We had a male pawing the ground and kind of horning the bushes and pawing the bushes. That was quite interesting behavior. That was nice. And the giraffes this afternoon was really nice as well. Such a quiet evening this evening. I hardly heard birds. You know, we often have the same old suspects, the same birds calling as day changes to night. But this evening there was barely any bird calls. It's very quiet. Yeah, Mimi, that's... regular viewers might have heard of this before, but impala have a layer at the back of their eye called a tapetum lucidum, which is a very reflective layer, and it actually reflects light back into the retina. So light that enters the eye and falls onto that tapetum lucidum gets reflected back into the retina of the eye and helps them to see at night, and that is what causes that glow. It is very pretty when it glows like that, and it serves a very important purpose for animals that need to see well at night. It just allows them to make use of all the little bits of light that are entering the eye and hitting the back area of the eye, that tapetum lucidum. We don't have a tapetum lucidum, so if you shine a spotlight in our eyes at night, you don't get that shine. I think for a lot of primates that is the case. I don't think vervet monkeys or baboons' eyes shine at night, but some primates do, like little bush babies have got very bright eyes at night. They also have good eye shine. But yeah, it's a very necessary piece of equipment in the eye, that tapetum lucidum, for animals that need to watch out for nocturnal predators. And while we sit and watch these impala, we're going to send you over to James, who's going to probably do the final part of the show. So I'll say goodnight to you now.
Jarrett was just trying desperately to pronounce tapetum lucidum and said it sounds like a woman's name, which I suppose is probably quite true. It does rather sound like a woman's name. And no, we don't have a tapetum lucidum, but I do think it's quite relevant that so many antelope species do. And it's not just the predators, because we often, as guides, you'll hear people, if you go on safari, you'll hear the guides say, no, we're not going to shine the light on the diurnal animals because the light harms their eyes. And so we'll only shine on the nocturnal animals, which of course makes absolutely no sense, because a diurnal animal's eyes are going to be less sensitive than a nocturnal one's, A, and B, the diurnal animals like the impala have got the tapetum lucidum precisely so they can see well at night. And so although they don't see quite as well as the cats, they see far more effectively in the darkness than we do. And there are some impala just to our right hand side, and they will be the final sighting of this Sunday, the 7th of July in the year 2024. We'll enjoy them. We'll enjoy their tapeta lucidums, I don't know what the plural is, as they shine in the infrared light, which they cannot see. And so they'll also be pretty much colorblind. Thank you, Andrew, the video guy. I'm very glad you enjoyed today's drive. I'm very pleased that Maxine had so much content. I don't think that there are many people who would have switched on today for the first time, looked at her and said, "Who's this rookie?" She really seems like she's been doing it for years, which is great. I'm sure she will be back. This is the same herd of impala that we started with, and they will probably be out here, of course, because it's miserably difficult at night if you happen to be an impala and you've got to try and avoid predators. But at least for them, the wind has dropped, and so they don't have to spend the entire night being assailed by a gale, which I'm sure they're very pleased about. Now, we will not see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is non-live day. But for those of you who are members and explorers, we'll catch up again on Tuesday morning at 06:30. And thank you very much to all of you for your questions and comments. And stay safe and happy wherever you happen to be on planet Earth. Good night.
Afternoon, everyone. A big, warm, very warm welcome from Madikwe Game Reserve.